Greetings from the United Nations family. First and foremost, thank you for allowing me to address you virtually at this timely International Social Justice Conference. I wish to convey my regards, as well as those of the entire United Nations family, to the Chancellor and Vice Chancellor of the Stellenbosch University, as well as to the conference hosting director of the Center for Social Justice, my sister, Professor Tuli Madonsela, and her team. Distinguished participants, the United Nations is proud to accompany and engage with this vital gathering at a time when we stand at the forefront of a transformative era for the well-being of people and the planet. World leaders, only last month, just committed to the Pact for the Future, and it's up to all of us to action the outcome of the Summit of the Future. The Pact calls for action to eradicate poverty, end hunger and food insecurity, close the finance gap in developing countries for sustainable development and climate change, as well as enhancing the role of an inclusive and equitable multilateral system as the engine for sustainable development. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, including the 17 global goals for people on the planet, which was agreed in 2015 with a deadline for 2030, is also crucial, because without this, we cannot ensure a sustainable and equitable world for all generations, current and future. Regrettably, the progress towards attaining the Sustainable Development Goals has been marked by disappointment and setbacks. A course correction, a reset, and accelerated interventions are needed because inequality has widened, poverty has increased despite concerted efforts to fight it, and as such, the aspired prosperity for all remains at risk. Distinguished participants, our partnership with the Center for Social Justice at Stellenbosch University underscores a collective commitment to tackling one of the most pressing challenges of our time. As you're well aware, these include eradicating hunger and advancing social justice, and doing so in alignment with Sustainable Development Goal 2, which focuses on ensuring we have zero hunger. The United Nations Secretary General has repeatedly lamented that hunger is an outrage in a world of plenty, further saying an empty stomach is a gaping hole in the heart of society. Therefore, it is our shared and collective responsibility to ensure that everyone has access to sufficient, nutritious food that emanates from a transformed food system. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, has brought to light the alarming reality that Africa is facing a severe food security crisis. Over 58% of the continent's population, that is approximately 300 million people, experience moderate or severe food insecurity. And by 2030, according to projections, this is going to be more than half of the world's chronically undernourished population residing in our beloved continent, Africa. Therefore, it is non-negotiable that we have to accelerate our collective efforts. Hunger is not merely an issue of insufficient food. It is a fundamental human rights concern and a priority as we seek to attain the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Looking at the Universal Declaration on the Eradication of Hunger and Malnutrition, alongside the Declaration on Human Rights, one can see that these all underscore the right of every individual to an adequate standard of living, which includes access to food. Recent global challenges and experiences, especially from the COVID-19 pandemic, to the prevailing geopolitical instabilities and crises and conflicts, as well as climate-related disasters, have all exacerbated these issues, revealing a deep-seated structural level of poverty and inequalities. These crises, cascading and interconnected, have increased global hunger and poverty, particularly impacting the poorest and most vulnerable populations, women and young people, and those in remote areas around the world. That's why UNESCO also reminds us that the broader framework within which we operate, which is about building inclusive societies, is not only a goal, but an imperative. We must bolster our social protection systems and increase investments in life cycle-based social protection across the continent, ensuring no one is left behind. Initiatives, laudable initiatives, such as school feeding programs and junior school farms can inspire a generation committed to sustainable and climate-smart agriculture, as well as equitable resource distribution. Distinguished participants, that's why as we reflect on these challenges, we need to also ensure that the call to action and our collective responsibility to act is clear and one which we embrace. We must join the Global Coalition for Social Justice, launched by the ILO, to intensify our collective efforts to address social justice deficits and accelerate the implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. This coalition represents a groundbreaking initiative to foster multilateral cooperation and champion social justice on a global scale. Distinguished friends and participants, that is why the United Nations stands ready to support and accompany these efforts to harness our collective expertise and responsibility to create policies that are not only innovative, scalable, but also inclusive and just. As we look ahead to the 2025 Second World Conference on Social Development, let us move forward with urgency and hope. The future we envision is within our reach. Collective action is an imperative. Policy making, informed by data and reflections from the academic community, is also critical at this point. And you can count on the United Nations family to keep on working with you and accompanying these efforts. And I wish you every success in your deliberations. I thank you.